So how we doing, survivors? It's Kraken here, and we are back in Navezgane. It's been a hot minute since I've been in Navezgane, but we're going to look at Navezgane and give you some tips and tricks on how best to survive 7 days to die. Now, one thing I do like about Navezgane is the spawn points. You always spawn next to a really small POI, and we can see there just on the left hand side, and next to a car and a cardboard box as well, which you can quickly loot up, get yourself some early loot, even though it's only paper, candlestick and a bit of glue. Glue's a good find. And we got the backpack over here, so we got some armor instantly and some extra water, so that you couldn't ask for a better start in the game, because the padded armor doesn't take up much stamina. Now, I've done these tips and tricks videos in the past before, and one thing I normally skip over is doing the actual initial how to play tips up here. That the game actually gives you the in-game way of playing up here. And quite a few people that have literally just picked up the game jump onto these videos and want to see how to do that. So we're actually going to run through that fast. So we need to find 10 plant fibers, and all of these are plant fibers. You can just left click straight away, and there you go. You get 2 per hit, and the bedroll comes up with the exclamation mark, nice and simply there. So we're going to grab a few more of those, because I know the next one we're actually going to need it. So we'll grab a few more of those. There we go, and we could hear that little ping. The bedroll is done. Put it down. There we go. Now, for getting wood, rather than punching a tree, these twigs over here will give you 2 bits of wood. So there you go, done. 2 bits of wood just by hitting that little twig over there. Now comes the fun part. We need to find ourselves 2 little stones. Now, these can sometimes be, a little chicken over there, these can be a little bit more of a pain to find. If you're really struggling to find them, then you can just spend your time hitting on a rock. But we're going to have a quick little look around, scout around, see if we can find them. There we go. Small stone number 1, press E just to pick that up. And stone number 2. Oh, see, can take a hot minute. There we go. Let's get that on the craft, because once we've got this stone axe, we can really get cracking on everything. What you want to do is try and make sure that you stay in this first kind of area, because they will not spawn zombies on you in this initial area. So try not to go too far out of the area. Right. Now we need to get plant fiber pants and plant fiber shirt. I could do that straight away because I did hit up a few more plant fibers. So you can either press where or press the W hotkey, and there you go, that is done. Next up, we need to be able to defend ourselves. Wooden club, again, you can press up here or press W. We're going to make a wooden club. So we're down to number 1 of wood now. So now we need to actually gather some wood, gather some plant fibers, some feathers, and some more stones. But we've got this now. So wood is really, really simple for us. So we're just going to beat our way on a tree, and you can see down in the bottom right hand corner the XP that we're getting and the wood. So we'll take this tree all the way down, because you do get a bonus when you actually knock the tree down. Fantastic. And we get a couple of seeds as well, but we're not going to sustain life just at the moment, because we've got to get on to surviving. I'm sure the trees will do fine on their own, and we can knock up some stone, which sorts us out with plenty of stone. Now that's going to be enough just to get us started. We need to find a bird's nest. Now, the bird nests have been nerfed from back in the day, but they are still around. Press E to go through one of those. There we go, we have 5 feathers. Now we can come back into here and we can make ourselves a primitive bow and we can make ourselves 5 arrows. You only need to make 1 to do the quest, but we're going to make ourselves 5 anyway, so we've got a bit of defense. Should be a good way to get started. Right, next up, one of the most important things in the game, the wooden frames. This is the initial thing for building and for nerd poling, and I'll show you that in a second. So I'm going to make 11 of these, and the reason I'm going to make 11 is because we need to use 1 to do this quest. So we'll put you down like that. You right click to place these. We're going to grab our stone axe and we need to upgrade it, and again we can pick that up like that if we press E, but we need to upgrade it. So we go to our stone axe and we right click like that, and there we go. And this is to show you how you build in the game, and it is just like that. You can build whatever shapes, designs, or nice houses like that one over there. There you go. There's another stone. I must have run straight past that. So we need that stone. We need a little bit more stone, because now we need to get into the cooking of the game. There we go. That's all the stone we need. This is the last one now. We can build a campfire. And you can shift click, bring that straight down into your hotbar, down here. And there you go. Could not be easier. Now, the most important things about doing this, even if you're a veteran of the game and it can be quite repetitive, the best part about that is we now have 4 skill points. So if you just don't do that quest, you're going to be knocking yourself out of 4 skill points. Everybody has different opinions and things about what to put your skill points in, but I'll give you my tips on the skill points, and that is to always put one into Sexysaurus, because stamina can be really difficult at the beginning of the game. So I usually put 1 in there. I always look into Fortitude and put 1 into Healing Factor, so if we do lose a bit of health slowly, so gain 1 hit point every 90 seconds. Rule 1 Cardio, because you're going to be doing a lot of running about, and if you like playing like I do with the trader, then I like to put 1 into Daring Adventure, which gives us an additional choice for when we hand in a quest and some more dukes. So I like to put my first 4 into there, and then the game tells us now where the first trader is. So we're going to get off to that first trader, and then I'm going to show you the map of where all the traders are in Navezgane. So let's get cracking. Right, there we go. Just killed our first zombie in the game, and he's actually given us, sometimes they drop a loot bag here, and these are really good. So we can just press E and check that up. He's given us a beer. Okay, so nothing too spectacular, but he gave us a beer. And now we have a tree stump. Now these are very useful, because if you knock one of these apart, they have a chance of dropping honey. Now honey will cure your infection. If a zombie hits you too many times, you will get infected. We didn't get it that time. It would have shown down here where it always shows you your XP and the wood. But if you ever see those tree stumps, they're worth hitting up. Now we're going to just run away from that zombie, because we got a trader to get to. And here we are, Trader Joel. So this is the trader for the forest biome, which is the biome we're in now. And you can see that the ground changes over here. So that's going into the burnt forest biome. So we'll talk about more of that very shortly. Now, in here, you can go through all of his loot. You're in a protected area. You can go through the trash. But this is protected, so it means zombies can't get in. And you can't break anything up in here. Now he's got one of each workstation in here. A lot of the time they are destroyed though, but we're going to go through and just double check, see what he's got here. Now you might think to yourself, lockpicks are very useful. that you just stay in here and then the zombies can never get you. The problem is he shuts at 10 o'clock and he kicks you out. Now this is an epic find. In a destroyed workbench or station, you always get a chance of finding the schematic for making that station, and that is what this forge has just given us. So that is a perfect thing to learn there. Vending machine which restocks each day, but we have no money. Dukes are the currency of the game, but I'll show you how to get them in a second. We have a chemistry station, some vitamins. Let's go inside, and he's got a destroyed workbench. So none of these stations we can come back and use, but we can make ourselves a forge, which is a good start. Right, let's go and meet the trader. So you can hear the zombies are outside trying to get in, but they never will.
We've got the best prices in the wasteland.
Hey Jen, how you doing? So we've got Jen here, and we can now ask for jobs, and we can do something like a berry supplies, nice and close.
I need someone who's willing.
And we'll get rewards for
completing
these quests. She has an inventory here with stuff that you can buy and sell, and you can sell stuff to her. Obviously we don't really have much. We can sell a little bit of things to her, but we don't really have much. The forged iron will be worth keeping. We can get rid of a candlestick though. There we go, 41 dukes.
Thank you so much. Hey, come again.
Perfect. Now let's look at where all the other traders are. So this map here shows you where all the other traders are on the map. As you can see, we're at this one here, right next to the burnt forest biome. We have another one in the forest biome, just over here. We have one up here, Trader Hugh, which will be freezing his little balls off over here in the snowy biome. One down here in the wasteland biome that used to be Trader Jen, so they've moved Trader Jen to over here. So they have changed quite a bit about Navezgane. And we have one down here in the desert biome over here. So now I've shown you where all of the traders are on the Navezgane map. Let's get down to some more tips and tricks, some of my top picks of how to survive and enjoy 7 Days to Die. Now, killing animals in the beginning of the game, or throughout the whole game really, is what you want to do. But what you want to do is make yourself a bone knife. Now, you see these gore blocks that we see on the floor here. You can make yourself a bone knife. Hitting that up gave us some nitrate, some rotten flesh, which we will need later, and 4 bones. We actually need 5, and it looks like there's another one just over here. So if we knock that apart, there we go, it's given me another 4. We can actually then craft a bone knife. There we go. So when we actually get to killing an animal, a deer, a boar, whatever it might be, cutting it up with a bone knife is going to be much better than hitting it with a stone axe. You'll get a lot more meat back. So make sure you always craft yourself a bone knife. Later in the game, you'll get yourself a hunting knife, and you can get yourself a machete, which are even better. But for the beginning of the game, something quick and easy to do, grab yourself a bone knife. Now, when you're trying to hunt animals, or when you're trying to hit zombies, you can get sneak damage on them. So if you press the control button here, you can see that we move up and down, and you've got a stealth meter on the left hand side. So we're at 35 stealth there. Now, when you're going for an animal like this, there's going to be some arrow drop because of the primitive bow that we're using. As you can see, we got an extra 3.5% damage. As you can see, it came up on the screen. So it does mean that you should be able to one-shot your animals. So it's very useful to make sure you use that sneak damage to do that, and then from there you can then carve up all your animals and get your really good meat. And that'll work for all the sleepers in POIs as well. So make sure you remember to use that sneak damage, especially if you're going to be using your bow and arrow, because you get really good extra damage without having to spec into it. So really well worth doing. Hot and cold can be a really big issue in the game for you, but for the first 5 levels, this little coat symbol down here means that hot and cold is not going to bother you anywhere near as much. So you're going to be pretty much fine for the first 5 levels. And to check your levels, you go into players, and we're on game stage 1, level 1 here. Okay, so we've had a couple of kills. Until you get to level 5, you're going to be pretty much fine with the hot and cold. So if you're in a desert biome or in a snow biome, that's going to be fine. But when you get to level 5, make sure you have the right clothing for those particular biomes. The forest biome, though, you're usually okay most of the time with. Now, you can fill up your empty jars by any water source by literally putting it into your hotbar and then right-clicking when you get close to the water. That will give you murky water. Now, murky water is actually quite useful because you can boil that in your campfire as long as you've got a cooking pot, and that will give you boiled water, which is fine to drink. But also, because we're going to make sure we always keep hold of our bones, we can use that to make glue. Now, making glue is very, very important, because making glue we can do with a couple of different ways. So here we go, we've got bones and murky water here, so we can make glue in a campfire. Using glue and cloth, you can make yourself duct tape, and nearly everything in this game is held together with duct tape. So we've actually got one glue there. Now, an easy way to get yourself some cloth is to punch up some of these cotton plants. So you'll see cotton plants, they'll spawn all over the world. Oh, there we go. And we can height up those cotton plants and just go on to recipes, cloth fragment, and there you go. So you can do that, and then you can get yourself duct tape, which is just 1 of 1 with the glue. So keep your bones, keep your murky water for making glue, and then cloth and glue equals duct tape, and you'll be able to basically build anything you need to. Now, if you find yourself in the burnt forest biome in the early part of the game, you will see some of these L-shaped broken up houses here. Now, these are actually really good because some of them have cookers, but most of them have a trash pile that you can search here. You can knock apart this sofa here, and this will give you some cloth and some wood. And nerd polling, we mentioned earlier, you can click on your frame, jump on top of it with your spacebar, and then use spacebar and right click and jump yourself up. So you can get yourself up to higher places to get yourself all started. Now, the great thing about that is on top of these you've got a water bottle there, which gives you some pure mineral water, which gives you which will cure your dysentery if you get that by drinking or eating something bad. Give you a lot more water than just your boiled water, and give you some efficient digestion. So really good to have after you've had your food. And also there's a medical pile up here as well, so you've got a painkiller there, which is very, very useful for putting your hit points back up. And here we go, this is the other style of L-shaped building here, and you've got a cooker, which this one didn't give us a cooking pot, but it's a good way of getting yourself a cooking pot, because that can be a pain. Let's just see, because a cooking pot is what you're going to want by the end of your first day. Let's get ourselves up here, and we've actually got a purse. Let's have a quick look. Anything inside the purse? Don't mind me there. Empty purse, but was worth having a look at anyway. So make sure if you do find yourself here, well worth just quickly checking those out. Now, if you find yourself in the wasteland biome, my advice is to get out as fast as you can, because you get all this horrible stuff on the floor, and there is landmines hidden in and around this floor. And quite often, you see one up there, there's bears about, and there's a lot of vultures and things that you really do not want to see. So especially in the early part of the game, until you found that urban combat level 5, I would suggest staying out of the wasteland biome. One of the great things about Navezgane is that it is balanced and it has all the different POIs in it, which is really, really good. So if you come down to this big town here down in the desert, you've got the pharmaceutical building, you've got Bob the Builders over there, which is a bit of hardcore parkour. You've got the biggest POI in the game, Dishong Tower, and you've got the Cracker Book HQ here. And knowledge is power. That is really worth going through, because books and schematics are one of the main things that are going to make you survive in the game. So this is one of the best towns, actually. Fire station over there in the whole of the map, and we've got them all in one little town, which is really, really good. One thing to note is that in certain POIs you will find some of the workbenches and the chemistry stations, and they have a chance of actually working. So this one we could actually use if we wanted, but if they do come up destroyed, they will give you some loot, and you can wrench these up and you will get forged iron and mechanical parts out of them. So very well worth doing occasionally if they are destroyed. If they're not destroyed, then you probably want to keep them and mark them on the map for yourself so you can come back and use them. But the forged iron, that's given me 5 already, will really help you make your first vehicle, which will be your bicycle. These will give you scrap iron, springs, short iron pipes, and loads of good stuff like that. And also these will give you cobblestone for constructing things, so that's really good there. So they're well worth hitting up as well. Another one there. And these ones will give you cement, which if you have a cement mixer, you can mix with sand and stone and make yourself cement like that. These piles here will give you stone, and they'll give you a lot of stone back. So if you see these in POIs, really worth hitting up, because we have no points in minus 69 or anything like that, and that gave me 50 stone. So a really efficient way of doing that. Now, wrenching beds apart is one of the best ways to get yourself springs. So you get yourself some wood, some short iron pipes, and some cloth fragments as well, but you get a really good amount of springs from them as well. So if you're in need of springs, wrenching up beds is one of the best things you can do. Now we're going to look at how you can get different ores in the game. So this here is a lead node. If you knock this down, and then underneath it you're going to find more lead. So symbol for lead. Whenever you knock a ore out, you get some stone as well. This is an iron node, this is a nitrate node, and this is the oil shell node. Now we've found all of the different nodes in the desert biome, but it is worth noting that forest you'll primarily find the lead nodes, wasteland you'll find the nitrate nodes, the desert you find the oil shell, the snow you find the iron, and the burnt biome you find a lot of the coal nodes. Now there is a chance to find every single node in every single biome, but I've never once ever seen oil shell apart from anywhere but in the desert. So just something to bear in mind there. And here we go back pretty much where we started at Trader Jen's. Now the last couple of things I want to show you, which are very good to know about the books and the schematics. Now if you haven't read that particular book or learned that particular schematic by unlocking it through your perks tree, which are through doing things like this, they will unlock your schematics. This book symbol here in the corner will be closed. So if we read this one, now you can see it's open. So we already know that. So that is worth 100 dukes. That'll be worth selling to Trader Jen. Same with this one here. We don't know it at the moment. We read it, and the second one that we had is now open, and that one's actually worth 160 dukes to Trader Jen. So we can sell those off to her. We go and quickly chat to her. May I see your inventory? And we can sell that and sell that one. Now, all the traders do sell food, but the food is really expensive. Really, really expensive. Can of pasta, 120 for the cans there. If you go out to the vending machine, you can get can of pasta for half the price. So sell your stuff to Trader Jen. If you've got the room and you find some books that you already know, keep them on you and you can sell them back. Different books and different schematics are worth different amounts. So maybe have a good look at that. But if you're in need of buying food or drink, try and buy it from the vending machines. Also, the vending machines are the only place that you can buy these candies, and these candies are really, really useful for mining. The Rockbusters one is just a must because you get 20% more back, and that lasts for 10 minutes, so really worth using that. Eye candy gives you some extra lucky looter, so if you've come to the end of a POI and you've got a big amount of loot there that you're about to take, taking an eye candy is well worth the money. So there you go, guys. A load of little tips there that hopefully will be able to make your experience of 7 Days to Die that much better. I hope you've liked the video. Big thumbs up on the video if you have. Please consider subscribing as well if you want to see more 7 Days to Die content. I've actually got a full dummies guide, which is a whole series going in a lot more detail of different things. I'll make sure I put that up on the screen for you, and it'll be in the links in the description down below as well. Guys, hope you've enjoyed the video. Have an awesome day. I'll catch you guys later. Take it easy.